All right. Let's make fun of some people. Let's make fun of some people. Celebrity tax cheats. All right. So, so let's see. Oh, Martha Stewart. Okay. Wesley Snipes. Mike the Situation Sorrentino. Stephen Baldwin. Jay Rule. Daryl Strawberry. Fat Joe. Joe Francis. Lauren Hill. Tessa and Joe Giudice, maybe. Okay. Heidi Fleiss. Sophia Loren. Ad poking in on me. Chuck Berry. Richard Hatch. Pete Rose. Dulcie and Gabbana, whoever they are. H. Ty Warner, whoever that is. Leona Helmsley, Martha Stewart, as we already said. Nick Cage, Willie Nelson, Tony Braxton, Mark Anthony, Sinbad. Who do we have? Do we have Shakira in there?
She's not in there.
Oh. Oh, I thought I had mispronounced her word. All right. So that's just on a quick Google search. Ooh, look at that. Here are 7 legal discounts seniors only get when they ask. Okay. I'm not quite there. But you guys are seniors, so hey, you get senior. All right. So I just gave you guys a couple of celebrities that might have gotten in trouble for some sort of tax fraud or tax evasion. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Emerson, Emily are not here. Gabe, is Gabe here? No. Vivian's not here. And Elizabeth not here? Okay, cool. All right. So, tax fraud. Okay? Tax fraud. It happens. Okay? But the unfortunate thing with tax fraud is this. And would somebody do me a favor and have your calculator on your phone, or if you have a calculator, a regular one, have it open. Okay? Is that cool? Okay. So a lot of times people will say people are cheating in taxes because of various reasons. So let's give a basic foundation. Okay? I will tell you that I make roughly, rounded to the nearest 100,000, I roughly make this per year. Okay, that's just real data. I actually make a little bit more than that, but I'm just rounding down to 100,000 just to make things safe. Sound good? Okay. So I should have to pay taxes on my 100,000. I need to pay taxes on this. But there are things that I can do to offset the amount of money that I have to give the federal government. Now, I'm not going to worry about the state government because it's going to work the same way, but let's just talk about the federal government. So I should pay in taxes. And I should probably pay right around this much in taxes if I didn't have any deductions. And then again, I'm not including any state taxes on this, but federal taxes, if I had 0 deductions, I should pay probably around $30,000. That means I get $70,000 to live. You follow me on this adventure? Okay, so this is a real application. Okay, now things that I will do to offset my $100,000 contribution. My health savings account, which we talked about last week, I can put, and I'm going to round these values down just to make it easier. I can put $7,000 rounded down into my health savings account, which now means I'm going to be taxed on $93,000 not 100,000. Did you follow the math I did?
Yes.
Does this make sense? I'm also going to contribute to my retirement.
And you don't get taxed on retirement savings?
Well, yes and no. There's two different ways. So if I went and I invested in a Roth IRA, I pay the taxes today on it, but when I go and withdraw it, I don't pay the taxes on it later, including what my interest was. Okay. But I'm not going to worry about, I'm going to say I don't have a Roth IRA, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. But I have a different retirement account that I am going to put $10,000 into, just arbitrary values. And so that means that my taxable income is now $83,000. Okay? So I just have two specific things that I have done that has lowered my taxable income for federal taxes. Have I cheated the government?
No.
Some people think I might. Right? But what does the government put in place? They have things that you can do to donate or put money towards or put money into that bring your taxable income down. So this 83,000 would mean, would somebody find me roughly 83,000? I would get taxed at 70 or taxed at 30%. So will somebody go 0.7 times 83,000 and tell me how much I should pay in taxes?
58,100.
Okay. Oh, actually, go the other way. Go. I went the wrong way. I'm sorry. 0.3 times 83,000.
Oh.
24,100.
Okay. So let me just round that up to 25,000. Okay, just to keep numbers easy. So now, if all worked out, all said and done, I now, rather than paying $30,000 to the federal government of money that I won't see unless because of living in society you get the benefits of paying taxes, I'm paying $5,000 less if I had invested in those two other things. And yes, there's so many other things I could try and hide my money in. Okay? And I'm not hiding it because I have to, on my tax return, put the itemized items, receipts from those corporations in as part of my taxes. So when a IRS agent looks at my taxes, they're like, oh, here comes Chris Stirrup, because that's my name. His work said he made this much money. So he should have paid $30,000 in taxes. Oh, but here's his receipt from his health savings account for $7,000. Here's his receipt from him putting $10,000 into a retirement account that's tax sheltered. Okay? So, yeah, it looks like Chris Stirrup might have done correctly. Okay? Now, that's what I should have done. And if I am a dum-dum with math, I'm going to wind up, I paid the federal government way too much. And if the federal government doesn't have me filing what my adjusted rate should have been, the federal government's not going to say, hey, Chris Stirrup, you paid us too much in taxes. Now, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, hey, Chris Stirrup, you didn't pay enough in taxes. So they're going to contact me if I didn't pay enough. If I gave them too much, they're not going to say a word. So let's face it, if you told your friend, if you gave your friend $20 and then you go to your friend, hey, you got that $10 you owe me? Oh yeah, here's the 10. Dummy doesn't realize I gave him 20, but hey. So kind of think of it that way. So the government's going to contact me if I owe. The government's not going to contact me if I don't owe. So let's do this based on what I should have done. So this is how my taxes are going to work based on last year's tax return, because we'll be doing our tax returns here in April, okay, based on what we made in 2022. Does this make sense? Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, and if you have that calculator, this is what I need you to do, and I'm going to explain how this works. Okay. So let's say I am a single person. I'm not going to say I'm married in this case. I'm just going to say I'm a single person. Yes, I am married, so it changes if you're married a little bit, but it's still okay.
What's the difference between married individuals and heads of households?
If I made more than my wife, I could be and I wanted to file, my wife and I wanted to file separately. We are married, but I'm head of household, therefore I get
And
it.
then she would be a single filer?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, yeah. All right, so I'm looking at just for single filers. Okay, so on my first, and I'm going to round these numbers down just to make it work. Is that okay? So this goes from 0 to $10,275. So I'm going to just say, let's round it to 10,000. So 10% of 10,000. Actually, how much was that? That was, let's not round it. Let's go 10. So I need 10%. 10% of 10,275. So that is 1027.50. So on my first $10,275 of my $83,000, I'm going to give the federal government $1,027.50. Does this make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
But I made more than this, agreed?
Yeah.
This was just on my first $10,275 I made.
Oh, so you pay a different amount for each chunk of money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the second tax bracket goes up to $83,500. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference, or I take it back. I'm under filing single filers. I'm going to go, or on your calculator, go 41775 minus 10275. 41775 minus 10275.
31,500.
31,500. Okay, that's my next taxable amount of income. And I'm going to pay at 12%. So what is 12%? So 0.12 of 31,500.
$3,780.
$3,780. Okay, so far I have had to pay in taxes, ballparking it about $4,900 in taxes. Okay, but I only paid on that middle portion of my income. Okay, that portion that was from whatever I made above 10,275, less than $41,775. Okay, so now let's go to the next tax bracket at 22%. Okay, will someone on a calculator go 89075 subtract 41775?
47,300.
47,300. $47,300. Oops. 47,300. And that taxable amount was at 22%.
And that's $10,406.
$10,406. So now I am owing in taxes so far roughly $19,000. Okay, so 83 was what my value was at. Now let's double check this. 83 is what my taxable income it was. Okay, so 83,000. So do me a favor, go 83,000. So I'm going to change this number here. Change it to 83,000 minus 41775.
That is 41,225.
41,225. Will you, and that's going to be at 22%. What's 22% of 41,225?
9,069.5.
9,069.50. Okay. So this is what I need added up. I need this first amount, and this amount added up. Just the yellows.
13,000.
Nope, you're off.
Nope.
Nope, really?
Uh,
Oh, are you 906,950?
okay, I screwed something up.
No, you might be right.
Oh, it's 18,000. I just cleared it. 18,000 something, I think.
Okay, do it one more time. 1,027.50 plus 3,780 plus 9,069.5.
Uh, 13,876. It would probably be N77 because I missed out on those 50 cents at the end of each.
13,877.
77.
I think you're right because the 50 and 50 rounded off. So friends, this is how much my initial 100,000, which I wrote off against my taxes, 7,000 for my health savings account, and I wrote off another $10,000 that I put towards my tax sheltered annuity or some sort of savings account towards retirement. So I owe the federal government $13,877 in taxes. If I paid the federal government this much and I did not file my things correctly, I'm giving the federal government what's 25,000 minus $13,877.
A lot of money.
You got the calculator.
$11,124.
All right, friends. Is it worth, in your opinion, should I do my taxes correctly, or should I just say, they're worth $25,000? Or are you willing just to give somebody $11,124 just for fun? Okay? It's kind of a hard thing to do. Now, do me a favor. Do me a favor. So a lot of times you will hear people are, I should have paid, in theory, if you're the general public and you're dumb, I should have paid 22% of what I made in taxes. So what's 100,000 times 0.22? 22,000. I should have paid, in the eyes of the people who watch the news, who are going after people, I should have paid $22,000 in taxes. Excuse me. But because I used government-supported tax structures, I only had to pay $13,877. So people, if like I was in the limelight, which I'm glad I'm not, but if I was in the limelight, they could run a news report saying Chris Stirrup has cheated the government by almost $9,000.
But when people are getting in trouble for it, isn't it usually because the government's coming after them?
The government is indeed coming after them. But if I was a public official, I mean, by definition, because I am a public high school teacher, you in theory could look up any teacher you wanted, and it'd probably take a lot more digging than just saying, I don't think it'd just be you'd have to do something called the Fair Records Act, where you could do a request from the federal government for the Fair Records Act of my tax return. Okay? You could probably do that. Now, it's probably going to take you 2 weeks because they'll be like, okay, you're requesting a Fair Records Act for someone who makes $100,000? Yeah, it's going to go to the bottom of the pile. Okay? It's not going to be immediate for you. But if somebody wanted to dig deep enough and wanted to try and exploit a person, they could say, look, this is what they should have paid in taxes. And if the person is in the spotlight and 9 News is like, yeah, let's throw this person under the bus. They were like, this person cheated on their taxes. They owed, by our records, $22,000, but they only paid $13,877 in their taxes. They cheated. And then people watch the news going, oh, what a bad person. We don't like this person. Okay? So when some of these celebrities are getting hit, did they violate tax code? Well, I'd say Martha Stewart went to prison for it. So she probably did. Because they didn't just listen to 9 News with Martha Stewart and say, oh, that's the defense against Martha Stewart. She has nothing upon us. No, Martha Stewart probably paid people a lot of money to try and make sure her taxes were right. But Martha Stewart can also do this. Hey, I paid this tax firm this much money to make sure everything was correct, and they made the mistake. So in theory, Martha Stewart probably could have, and she probably tried, she probably could have tossed them in. And then what they would do is they would investigate the tax company that they did, and then they realized, oh, but Martha Stewart wasn't honest. She had this extra $20 million that she never reported to her tax company, and she just tried to hide it somewhere in the Cayman Islands. But it was the wrong Cayman Islands bank. Okay? So, yeah, she got in trouble for it. You know, our old buddy Donald Trump, they're trying to slam him because I heard he didn't pay a whole lot in taxes on the last thing. Now, here's the key. We hear what the news puts out. Is the news going to be the actual figures, or are they going to just limelight a story to try and get people to jump on board? I mean, as far as I know, I don't think old Donald Trump's in prison. Okay? And I'm just pointing that out because I was just in the spotlight. I'm not saying I'm for or against old Donnie boy, but you know, he's gotten himself in some hot water. He's paying his tax attorneys an awful lot of money to show the IRS we did everything legitimate. Okay? Whether it works or not, I don't know. But it is possible if Donald Trump truly did not pay his fair share in taxes, and they can prove it by a very large case with, you know, I'm not talking public defenders that are making $200 an hour. I'm talking people that are making $5,000 an hour to work on this case. Okay, and basically how attorneys work is a really good attorney is going to be charging you $5,000 an hour for their time. And though I will tell you, attorneys will log their time to the minute. Say, this is how much you have to pay me to make this work. So old Donnie boy is dropping a lot of money on his legal team, on his tax specialists, to ensure that he was legitimate on his taxes, even if, you know, let's face it, a lot of public officials are making a lot of money, and they don't just make their paycheck because of that. They have other endeavors that are making them lots and lots of money. And I know that people will say, oh, but you know, Donald Trump didn't even take a paycheck from the federal government to be president of the United States. Okay, is that true or not? I don't know. It was on the news. So was it true or was it not? I don't know. It is very possible. But if Donald Trump decided to say, don't give me the $500,000 a year, that could be a write-offable type of thing towards his taxes. So if Trump gets in trouble for tax evasion, it's not because he didn't try to fight it. I mean, let's face it, you got the IRS knocking at your door, and you have the possibility where the IRS, the federal government, is going to start liquidating your assets. You're going to fight like crazy to ensure they don't get it. Okay? So I would be curious to see in the next couple of years if something truly comes to fruition on it. Okay? I want to trust our our federal government and our judicial system. Now, we all know, we have heard certain cases here or there that when we look at it, it doesn't seem quite fair or it doesn't seem right. I mean, let's face it, everyone's got a cell phone these days, right? Everyone is now a reporter. You video the right thing, you can sell that video to the news stations and they'll pay you money for it. If they deem it worthy enough, they will pay you for it. Okay? Every one of you has that cell phone. Let me ask you this. How many of you have been out on a Friday or Saturday night and you saw something jacked up taking place that you decided, I'm going to video it? I think almost every one of you has videoed something that basically could become evidence against the people who are involved. Agreed? Okay. Is what you saw at a party last Saturday night worthy of 9 News buying your stuff? Probably not. But I do know that there was a small party not too long ago out by Cherokee Trail, but we had a lot of Creek kids there that people were dancing around and the grandma and grandpa were supposedly sleeping and the floor fell in. You remember hearing that?
Yep.
That was a pretty good story. Wow. That home builder is sitting there going, why did the floor fall in? Because you had 300 people jumping up and down in the living room? I don't know. But is that a lawsuit that could happen? Sure. The person who got hurt or the people who got hurt in that, there might be a lawsuit. Are they going after the homeowner on it? I don't know if it's the homeowner who weakened those floors. I think the builder's probably going, shoot, we might have wanted to buy the little bit better beams and wood to put into these homes if we're going to have parties of 300 people. Okay? But we've all seen it. We've seen cell phones. I had 2 years ago, I was working out at my gym, and there was a 21-year-old female who was doing the burpees. You know what those are? How you jump up, and then you crouch down and do a push-up, and then you come up and jump up at the end. I guess it gets your heart rate going. It's something that this old dude ain't going to do. But she dislocated her knee. So she comes down, and she's on the floor, and this part of her leg is doing this. Okay? Her leg is going a different direction. You know what frustrated me so much? I was not really the closest person to her. The people who were closest to her busted out their phones and start videoing a dislocated knee of a 21-year-old female. I was the only one in the gym that went right to her to help her, because I looked at it going, my gosh, this could be my own daughter. How would I want people to react if my daughter dislocated her knee? Do I give a rat's butt if it's going to make YouTube and become a new video sensation? No. I want to know that someone is kind-hearted out there is actually helping. So I'm helping her, and a guy named Jesse, who's one of the trainers, comes running up to me. He goes, hey, is everything okay? I said, okay, I need a blanket, and I need 911 called. Okay. So he comes back with the blanket. He goes, is she cold? No. I laid the blanket over so the guys who are trying to become YouTube sensations couldn't get video footage of a knee that's going the wrong way. And then Jesse calls 911, and he comes back to me, and he's like, what can I do? I said, okay, there's going to be a big red limousine showing up. And there's going to be men and women that jump out of that limousine. They come running in. And he looks at me, I kid you not. Jesse says to me, he goes, the fire department uses limousines now? I guess stirrup sarcasm didn't work so well in that case. I said, no, it's going to be a fire truck. Please direct them back here. And as I'm with this young lady, and she's now covered up, I'm trying to talk to her to keep her calm, trying not to move her. Fire department comes, and you hear this when the fire department comes in. Boom! And she's like, oh, what happened? D popped back in. Okay? They didn't transport her. They checked her out, gave her a once-over, and said, you know, you really should probably have a doctor check this out because, you know, doctors go to medical school. But that gives a little insight on, I hope, a little bit on taxes for you of how they work. I can assure you the $13,877 that was paid in taxes was 100% legally done. It is not cheating the system. But what I want you to get from this little clarification is you're going to see, well, none of you are going to watch the nightly news because that's what just a bunch of old people do. You're going to see TikToks, Yik Yaks, Patty Whacks, and all the other kind of social media stuff out there. I want you just to please realize a lot of times the social media that you're seeing is pretty darn entertaining. So I want you to start chalking up your social media as an entertainment thing. Let's face it, if you see someone getting barfed on and it's a video and you're watching it, that's funny. Okay, that makes me laugh. But it's not the nightly news. So I hope that gives you a little bit of perspective into our tax system and what to do with it. And any of these tax things any of these things on Fridays can be subject to be on quizzes. They won't be on our first quiz. Our first quiz will be on Wednesday. I'm not going to have any of the Friday stuff on there yet, but you could see it. And then somebody had asked, can we use Desmos even on tests and quizzes? Yes. Okay. There is a huge benefit for you knowing Desmos. Does that prevent person on one side of the room texting their friend on the other side of the room the picture of the answer they got on number 3? No, I can't prevent it. No, I'm not going to hound after you going, oh, looks like you took a picture of yours and you sent it to your friend across the room. Okay, I prefer it doesn't happen, but I know that it could happen. Okay, especially because you're using your cell phone, and because Desmos is on your cell phone, I think it's more important for you to realize you have a tool on your phone than the one person being dishonest with the other. Okay, and it happens. Yeah.
With the Friday things on the quizzes, are we gonna need a super in-depth thing or just two?
Yeah. Before anything goes on a test or a quiz, it will be gone over a few times before So you'll see this taxable thing again, and we'll make fun of somebody else. Maybe not old Trumpy or Martha Stewart. Shakira, we'll make fun of Shakira this next time. Just remind me. Cool. I hope you enjoyed that. And yes,